GQ style, for the first time, Brad Pitt is opening up about his divorce from Angelina Jolie. Now, among the revelations is that Brangelina is handling the divorce themselves without the aid of the courts. Now, why are they doing this, and is this good advice for others? Joining me now is Diana Isaac. She's an attorney with Shulman Law Firm. Diana, nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me here.
All right, I want to bring up quickly what Brad Pitt had to say in this interview. He said, quote, "We are working to sort things out. The alternative is a court case in which you spend a year focused on building a case to prove your point and why you're right and why they're wrong. It's just an investment in vitriolic hatred. I just refuse." Has he got a point here? Is it always a good idea to try to avoid the courts if you can when you're in a divorce situation?
In my personal experience, yes. When dealing with high-profile clients, it is very important. In fact, it's paramount to preserve the privacy of their matter. When you're going to court, you have your financials, intimate details about your personal life and your divorce that's now in the public domain.
All right, so it does seem unusual, though, but is that why they're doing this, is to avoid bad press because they're A-list stars? And when we look at A-list stars, the press and the publicity is one thing, but there's obviously millions of dollars at stake here as well. So are they taking a risk by not taking this to court?
No. In my experience, the due diligence that a lawyer has to practice, irrespective of using arbitration, mediation, or litigation, we are still exercising our ability to understand and analyze the information to see what's in the client's best interest.
Okay. Most couples obviously don't face the kind of attention that Brangelina facing when they break up, and it may be more cost-effective, but is it always best to try and settle this sort of thing outside of the courts?
In my experience, yes. I mean, at Shulman Law Firm, we pride in focusing on de-escalating conflict, and we also start focusing on implementing stability and reaching a resolution. Because divorcing couples, whether you're a celebrity or not, finality is important. Everyone wants to move ahead with their life and really have a clean break.
So should you try arbitration first as a general rule, and if that fails, can you still use the courts as an alternative?
Arbitration is more of an alternative to litigation. So an arbitrator essentially is empowered to make a decision that's binding on the parties. Some of the issues they will deal with is support. They can deal with custody and access. Whereas in mediation, the mediator cannot compel a decision on the party. So if mediation fails, then yes, you may want to contemplate litigation at that juncture.
Okay, when we talk about mediation and trying to solve this without the courts, divorce, of course, is always tough. Does this really just come down to a matter of maturity, the maturity of those involved when it comes to whether or not you do need the courts?
Well, that's a very interesting perspective on that. Some would argue that it only takes one unreasonable party to end up in court. In certain situations, when time is of the essence and it's very time sensitive and there's an urgent matter, like child abduction, like when there's a spouse that requires support and the other person is not providing that support, then you know what, urgency is there and you require court intervention.
All right. Diana Isaac, attorney with Shulman Law Firm. Appreciate the time this morning. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.